All right, welcome everyone. Welcome back to another Age of Radio Mercury live from Foundry Fest in Phoenix, Arizona. We are coming up on the end of the day. They go by really, really fast. And I have a new friend with me that I met, I've been sitting next to, that I've seen at other events but never really talked to. Or maybe I've talked to and I forgot, which is always a possibility. But I have Fred from Wise Acre Comics. And if you were listening to the very first stream that we did, I said every name possible about his company except for the actual name of the company, which is Wise Acre Comics. So we're going to sit down and talk with him a little bit about Wise Acre, what Wise Acre Talks is, a little bit about his background, and then about his comic, Magnus Jakuta. Am I saying that correctly?
Jakuta.
Jakuta.
Yeah.
See, I'm saying it wrong. Okay, so Magnus Jakuta. Oh, yes, you. If there's a you. Okay, if I read it, see, that's the problem. I read things really fast and then say them completely wrong. So, Fred, to jump in, let's get started a little bit about your background. So, you are a comic book creator. Do you do the writing, the illustration, the art? What's your background look like that, and how did you get into creating your own comics?
So I'm the writer, creator of the series and everything. I also do a little bit of concept art, pass it over to my main concept artist to finish it up and everything for me. I'm also a letterer on some of the comic books and everything I also create as well. But I'm also mostly a publisher and everything too, so I actually publish other indie creators, also a part of the House of Wise family.
Nice. And you were the creator of the House of Wise family
Yes.
as well,
Yes.
right? So we'll talk a little bit about that. So is your background in art? Is it in writing?
No.
Is it in like what? So tell me a little bit about that and how you got into this.
So a little bit about me is I just retired from the military with the Air Force after 25 years of service.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you.
Thank you. And then, my dad and my older brother and everything are comic book heads. And so we've been, really, into comics early on as a young age. I love the old school 90s Image, as well as Milestone Comics. So that's kind of, I fell back into comics back in 2018, really, after my mom passed away from cancer.
No.
And so that was really a pain point to try to figure out, how to handle grief and how to handle that depression and everything from her loss. And it kind of drew me back into comics to write my own story, really based off about my family in a way. And that's how Magnus Jakuta came to life.
Right. And so this is your first comic, Magnus Jakuta?
Yes.
Okay. And this is your only comic currently?
This is my flagship comic. I have a multitude of other comics, everything out there as well.
Okay.
Like Crisis Uncut, Veve, which are fan favorites, Frontline. We have The Meadows, and so many more that I actually write and everything and created. But I'm also, a co-writer and an editor and things of the nature and stuff like that on other comics as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let me talk about the Wise Acre Comics. So that, and then the House of Wise. So break down what Wise Acre Comics is and how it relates to House of Wise and what that means.
So Wise Acre is pretty much my baby. It's everything that houses everything I create from my experiences and everything in life, from my family, from friends, things and stuff I went through in the military, coming up and everything as well. That's pretty much the basis of Wise Acre Comics, is how I formed the company and everything. And then the House of Wise is a staple of other creators and everything that we get together pretty much, and I publish their works and stuff underneath the House of Wise banner.
Got it. So you have other comics that are underneath House of Wise, and then you help them. You're kind of working from a publishing house perspective from that. So do you cover the costs of their comics? Do you help them kickstart, or how does that part work from if someone was part of House of Wise?
Yeah, so I help them get a foot in the door, right?
Got it.
I help them, we run Kickstarter campaigns, so we crowdfund quite a bit of their campaigns, everything as well. I table their books and everything here at certain different events and stuff. If it's a main comic event or a comic event in a local area, I make sure their book is on display on the table. And then also we try to do fulfillment to where we're in comic book stores, so they have a chance to actually get their book and everything distributed through their local comic book stores, other places and stuff like that as well.
Nice. So how long then have you been doing the House of Wise?
So we really officially everything started back in really 2022 time frame. It's when I actually signed the original four. I like to call it the originals. I have Alan Lynch, who's the writer and creator of the Neon Ghost series,
Okay.
Critical Ops Task Force. We have Octavia Etheridge for the Matriarch series for Liberty Freedoms. We also have Mark Glave for the Dark Sentinel series. And then last but not least, we have Monica. She's actually the creator of Hybrid Theory, which is our first manga.
Nice. And so here in the QR code, they can go to the Wise Acre Comics, right? wiseacrecomics.com or .us.
They can go to wiseacre.us for the main website.
wiseacre.us, and that's where that QR code should lead people if they click on it. I'm new to the QR code. I had been deleting the previous one and then putting in the new one, so I don't know how that works after the stream's over. So on this one, I did a new one because I had just thought about that. So we'll see how that specifically works. This is the first time that we're trying that, but we want to make it easy for you to get to the comics or the vendors that are here to buy their stuff if you're not able to come to the event down here in Phoenix. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Magnus Jakuta. So this is I guess your flagship comic. This is your main one. Okay, so break down what is the premise of Magnus Jakuta.
So I like to tell the individuals everything if they love Black Panther, X-Men, Static. I'm old school Static. I know people like Static Shock and everything.
Yeah.
Invincible. I tell a parallel story in as a part of this story right here of a young man from Chicago who lives in a single family household with his mom. He's going to be introduced to his uncle, General Stamos, who's given a prophecy by the Orisha Olakon to go to Earth and find Magnus at all costs. He must find his father at all costs.
Okay.
But Magnus have never met his father before. He doesn't know he has a sister and everything. And so over the course of this journey, it's the first 16 issues tell the introductory arc of his journey and everything, right?
Okay.
He doesn't have powers as of yet. They will be unlocked over time of the story. And it will manifest starting with the first issue. And so with this story and everything, I'm going to tell also of the Orisha. This is the first time you get a chance to experience European mythology to where you actually see the Orisha in this story throughout.
Wow. So tell me how many currently this is issue
issue one.
How many issues are there currently?
So we have right now a total of 5 issues produced. We're working on issue number 6, which should be releasing hopefully early next year.
Okay, so issue 6 will be early next year. And then are you planning to just make this a continuous series, or is this an arc that you want to tell and then it's done? Or is this a story that you want to tell to a certain point that you know of? Like, I've been talking to people here today, and I asked them, like, no, this is going to end at issue 9. And I'm like, okay, cool. So they've thought that out. And they're like, I'm going to issue 9. There's going to be 9. So tell me how, is this going to be continued, or do you have like a stopping point?
So this is going to be continuous and everything right now. Once the 16 issues are produced,
okay,
I'm going back because this is a part of the universe and everything to tell the prequel to Magnus of the 3 sons, which is, his father, King Ragnas, both his uncles, General Stamos, and Lord Anik. And so I feel like that was the most important to tell how we got to this point. And then once that arc and everything finished, I go back to the main arc.
So now the other comics that are in the House of Wise, are they part of the same universe at all, or no? I guess everything the opposite of that.
Everything is different right now.
Got it.
We did our first kind of presentation of bringing all of our characters into one, right?
Okay.
This is kind of like a one-shot type of deal.
Got it.
And that was at LA Comic Con. We did like a poster and everything to showcase one of my villains, I like to say everything, that had all of our characters attacking this individual and everything, right, on a poster.
Okay.
And so that was kind of like the first time, the first glimpse we got a taste of what could be going forward in the future. So we might have a couple of, cameos.
But since you did the one-shot, like when I'm watching a show on TV, or I'm reading a comic, and then I see another character from another comic, even if it isn't like a one-shot, as a one shot, to me that signifies that it's all part of the same universe that that other one came into. Or was this just kind of like to see like what it was like putting them all together, and then you're maybe still thinking about them maybe coming into one universe?
So I think because we did it just with a poster, right?
Oh,
Just
got it.
to give us a little bit of a glimpse of what could be.
Got it. I see.
And hopefully, like I said, from there, we might start thinking about some ideas going forward into, okay, how can we incorporate the other characters and stuff into this storyline?
Yeah. So, Fred, you said you do these through Kickstarters. What has been, how many, so you help, so with all of the comics that are underneath the House of Wise, how many Kickstarters have you done, and what have been some of your learnings along those way? And do you always do it through Kickstarter, or do you use other crowdfunding platforms?
So this year, we started with both Kickstarter and Zoop. So I held a lofty goal to launch a campaign every single month this year.
Oh my God. You were, how has that been?
That's probably been crazy, right? But we have done it.
Okay.
We have launched
So you've been
a campaign
successful. Yeah.
every single month, and every book has went out this year. Mainly because the thing with an indie, right? There has been always the negative thing we looked at from an indie standpoint of books not getting to the customer hands in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure to show people that it could be done if you do it the right way and everything with a family in this ecosystem where indie is something special.
Okay.
And so with the amount of teams and everything we have available to everything to us, and the amount of crazy everything we have also bringing our stories to the forefront, we figured, you know what, why not go out there and try to do it? And so far, we have launched a campaign every single month this year.
Wow.
And we're going to release our next book, hopefully here launching on October 14th, Aeon Blaze, which is another baby of mine, everything. And then we'll cap it off at the end of the year with Dark Sentinel, and then also Liberty Freedom's the Matriarch.
Wow, man, you were going hard on that. Do you do other, so once they're out and then you're selling at these events, do you do other type of marketing campaigns to promote these out, maybe through, Meta or through Google search or through, how can other, how do you try to get it to more people since you have this wide, I guess, since you have multiple different comics that you're pushing out there?
So a lot of it comes through our website. A lot of it also come across social media and everything too. We're really heavy and everything big on ads for Instagram and Facebook.
Got it.
So we're definitely trying to, still, expand the brand and everything, get the word and everything out there, who we are, what we're doing, everything, what we provide. And so we're looking at different outlets. We do a lot of interviews when it comes to podcasts.
Yeah.
Then we also have our own House of Wise Talks.
Yeah, which I was going to touch on. So now, since you brought it up, let's touch upon that. So what is Wise Talks? It says here, I like how you put this. Hold on. So it says empowering ideas, connecting communities. So tell me how that slogan relates into Wise Talks and what Wise Talks is.
So I like to say we do a lot of house calls, right, amongst the house family and everything.
Got it.
And normally what we do and everything is we get together, we collaborate, we talk about different ideals, how to really embrace and expand the community and everything, and and find out what the indie community and everything, what they want and what they need, and try to make sure we're catering to their likes and everything too, right? And so we're very, very big on community.
Yeah.
And that takes, all of us to be able to thrive and everything in this community, everything as well. Because again, the books, yes, they get expensive, but that should not be something that holds us back to get our stories, everything out there. I always tell people, our voice is our superpower for that reason, right? And if your story is important and someone wants to hear it, and you need to be able to be willing to share it with the community and everything that's going to get behind you and support you along the way. This doesn't happen without the community.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So at the end of the day and everything, that's why I feel like this Indian community is very special, mainly because, it takes a village. It takes all of us. And that house, family, everything is my community, right?
Yeah.
And so Wise Talks was an ecosystem where I created everything was a podcast to be able to conduct interviews, especially during Kickstarter campaigns, to not highlight me, but to shine a spotlight on them. Because I feel like, hey, look, we want to make sure we tell the world a little bit about their story as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really powerful because that's really how all of this came to be about, is about communities. finding a communities and then empowering those communities. So for Wise Talks, people can find it on YouTube.
Yes.
So where do they find it at on YouTube?
So same thing. All of my socials, everything is underneath Wise Acre Comics at Wise Acre
Okay,
Comics.
so if they go to Wise Acre Comics, if you go to Wise Acre Comics right now on YouTube, you'll be able to find Wise Talks.
Yep.
Okay, and then do you also distribute it just as audio on podcast platforms at all, or
Yep.
do you just do it through the video through YouTube?
So we do a little bit of both, right? A lot of for YouTube and everything we do video wise. I did start a Spotify podcast
Yep.
for Wise Talks that I use for motivational purposes and everything.
Yeah.
So just to give creators and everything an opportunity to be motivated to start, because oftentimes when we get in this space and everything, I hear often, hey, look, I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, I have this story, I have this pitch,
And you can't-
but
yeah.
I can't do it. And I say that the hardest part of everything is just taking that first step to start your journey.
Of course, that.
So-
And that's one of the things that I've heard multiple times talking about some of the creators here is that they always have, they always have an idea. And what I've found from a lot of the people that were here, that them being in these types of places, that was the thing that realized that they could start that first step to go and do their journey. So, that's really great to hear you say that. So I do want to ask a question. So, and I'm looking at some of the boards over here. I just wanted to see. So all of the people, the characters inside of Magnus Jakuta, they are all people of color or black. Is that correct?
Yes, majority of everything, about 90% of the characters and everything are of color. We do have other races and everything that that we'll bring into the light, especially from the Federation standpoint, the director and everything, and certain agents and stuff. They're very different backgrounds.
Yeah.
So, but the core of the sort of thing, right? I'm really delving to African mythology when it comes to this storyline.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that, because I feel, and I don't know if this is, I don't know if my perception's wrong in this regard, but I feel that we don't have enough, and there might be a lot of comics out there, but there are not like comics that are being brought out in maybe in movies or to the public as much that is where the whole where they are people of color that are in them. So I guess my question is, do you think that that's important for people to kind of based off of? I guess the question is do you think that there should be more, I guess, representation of different colors inside of comics themselves?
I believe so. We have, like I said, I'm a huge fan of Black Panther, John Stewart, the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
We have a mass amount of characters. Luke Cage, Black Lightning across the board, everything, right?
Yeah.
Icon from Milestone, Static and everything across, just Rocket. However, though, when you walk into a comic book store, I always ask this question: how often do you walk into a store and you see a person of color on the front page outside of Black Panther and everything, right?
Yeah.
And then from any standpoint, that's where I feel we can really move the needle a little bit and be able to share these stories, everything from Africa diaspora. And so doing my research when my mom passed away, I really delved into a lot of research based off the Orisha. And I feel like a very
Now, is your mother of African like African descent, or what led to that? Because I don't understand. I don't know that the Orisha that much.
Yeah. So with me researching her background, right, where she came from, and everything, it led me down that path of Africa.
Okay.
So through finding a little bit of history, everything about who she was and her background, led me there. And the more I still, did research everything, right, I started really getting to know a little bit more of the culture and the people and everything as well, which led me to the Reacher. My concept artist, who we created all the characters and everything for Magnus Jakuta, is from Nigeria. And so he was able to really give me the designs, everything I really was really looking for this story that was rooted there in Africa. And so I felt, to really have that culture highlighted throughout this story and be sure that with new readers and everything and really create a high-end product on top of that and everything too, I feel was really, really important.
Yeah, no, I think that it's really important too, and I hope that we see. I love coming and talking to people, because what I find from a lot of the creators that are here is when I'm looking at the these independent comics that they're doing, I see a lot of them inside of them, like they want the representation of themselves to be a part of what they're actually creating. And I think it's also important to have, for people of color, no matter what color that is to have people that they can look up to. And I think that that's something that was missing, at least when I was growing up, for people of color, to have that to kind of look up to. And rather than taking a character that is, maybe white and then making them black, there's lots of content that's out there where there are people that are already black in this case that we can go out there and then push that, in other formats than from the comic. So I appreciate you sharing that with me, Fred. So I know that we're coming up on the end of our time here. I know that it's almost 4 o'clock, so the event's almost over. This thing went by super fast. So Fred, I appreciate your time. I look forward to reaching out. I'll reach out to you more. I'd love to have you on some more of this live streaming that we do for our Mercury show. But is there any final thoughts that you have for anybody that's watching? And again, where can people find you and pick up Magnus Jakuta and other comics from the House of Wise?
Yeah, so we do both digital and physical format everything. You can go to wiseacre.us. You can actually see, the ecosystem we built everything here underneath the umbrella of Wise Acre Comics and the House of Wise family. And then also across social media, everything too. It doesn't matter if it's Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, you name it, everything, right? It's going to be at Wise Acre Comics. And so this is great because I love coming to these venues, everything here that's somewhat small and personal, everything too, and meeting a lot of more people.
Yeah.
And so that's what it's really about.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's a hot take that you have in the comic book industry?
I make sure I try to pass on knowledge from different learning experiences and stuff, everything too. I feel like, things that I've learned, mistakes and stuff I have made, I can help somebody else make sure they don't make the same mistake that I have done.
No, absolutely. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Fred. I appreciate you. All right, guys, I'm going to try to get one more interview in these last 15 minutes from someone. And again, we'll be Jinx is on here. And Jessica said thank you for sharing. So, yeah, I think that was very powerful, Fred, what you had shared as well about this. And Jessica's going to have to help me maintain how many interviews we do during these things and keep them more on track. In the future, Jinx wasn't able to, or Jessica/Jinx wasn't able to make it to this, but you'll see a lot of her next week at UwuCon. But today we're at Foundry Fest from AZ CAFR, Arizona Comic Book Arts Festival. So make sure that you check them out and make sure that you go here to this QR code to check out all the stuff that's coming from Wise Acre Comics. And again, my name's Jeremy. I am the host of Mercury, your home for podcasting and pop culture news. And as I always say, be thankful, grateful, and kind. And we'll talk with you soon. Bye, guys.